In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Vundacast.
There's one team that kicks ass. They're assembled. They're the Vundacast. Never back down from the brass. Always start first. Never finish last. Had a mock speed. Bit too fast. Oh no, they're out of gas. It's okay there. Just a podcast. They're the greatest. We're the Vundacast.
Welcome to the Vundacast, the official podcast of Vundablog.com, the podcast that is lighting up the charts on Libsyn.com. We just checked it. 45 downloads for our AEW coverage, last two episodes. Holy shit, watch out. Here comes me, Stephen E., your host, bringing you another episode of our AEW Dynamite coverage from April 28th. And with me, as always, is my glorious co-host, the man with the plan. He's got notes in hand, the non-binary champion of all the land, D-Rock.
Woo!
How you
Yes.
doing, D-Rock?
Good. Having a good day. Good times. Just did a little live stream concert that was not live at all. It was like recorded from 2019, but still fun. So ready to go.
It's been interesting that like WrestleMania came and passed, and like we had no mention of it here on this AEW Dynamite show.
It's true, yeah. And it was a really good WrestleMania. But yeah,
Kind of.
this is
In some spots.
that's not our audience for this podcast, I guess. I don't know.
Suck it, Vince.
Maybe.
On a related note, so for some reason on YouTube now, apparently WWE has like some partnership with the A&E channel, and they have all these like documentaries, and they have a show about like finding lost WWE treasures where they go and hunt for props with superstars and stuff.
Nice.
And one of the clips that YouTube pushed to me is a Macho Man documentary that they have on A&E, where they have Macho Man's costume designer who used to design outfits for pimps until Macho Man called him up to the big leagues. And originally, Macho Man asked him, I just need, like trunks and boots. And the guy was like, Macho, you have to give me a canvas to work with. And so that's how it turned into like the full suit and the hat and the glasses and the arms and the tassels and all that stuff. So
That's so awesome.
I thought it was interesting that there's a little bit of like pimp style in Macho Man. I never thought of that before.
Yeah, for sure. What's it called?
It's an A&E biography on Macho Man. You want me to find the clip? I can find the clip on YouTube. You can actually watch the clip via the magic of this show.
Nice.
Let's see. A&E. I'm gonna see if I type in AOE, A&E Macho Man Pimp, if it'll come up. Well, typing in Omo isn't gonna work there. No, Pimp ruins the search. God damn it. I know what I'll do. I'll go into my history. Here we go. Wait, are you? I'm not sharing screen.
Randy calls me on the phone Hulkster told me you can make me some
I'm going, who's this? He comes.
Sorry, here we go.
Randy calls me on the phone. Hulkster told me you can make me some clothes. I'm going, who's this? He comes with Miss Elizabeth and he brings me shorts that have 3 stars in the front and maybe 2-inch letter across his tush. It says Macho Man. And I say, dude, I need real estate. I need from the floor to past your head. He says you can do whatever you want. This is the kiss of death. I make him 5 outfits out of spandex, but full-length pants and shirts. And maybe there's a little fringe here and there. We're just starting out. In the 80s, there was a series of pimps. One pimp would bring another pimp often to us, and they'd say, about me, he's all right. Yes, there was some inspiration from them for Macho Man's clothes.
His costumes fit, man. Every look, the tassel, everything just went down right where it was supposed to go to, you know what I'm saying? Damn, there was a pimp outfit Randy was wearing, man, when you think about it. Like, Randy Pimpin' Savage.
The guy that dressed the pimps in the 70s ended up being one of the most influential costumers in all of wrestling. That's how Tampa rolls.
A real funny story is he wanted a really fast car, you know. A buddy of mine had one. So Randy went out there, looked at the car, bought it, had the car sent from California. He called me, send the damn car back. So what's wrong with the car? He goes, my hat box won't fit up front in the trunk. I guess the only place there was a trunk was in the front of Ferrari. So he put the hat box in and he wouldn't close, so we had to send the car back.
Hats are doing good. Now we got hats, we got glasses. I'm painting on his shirt, on the hat, on the sleeves, on the pants, on the back of the jacket, Macho Man. Over and over again. How many times can you write Macho Man? How many times can you paint the name? How many fonts can you use? Nobody can wear Randy's clothes, nobody. They all look silly. There's something about this person fits these clothes.
An A&E original biography, Macho Man Randy Savage, Sunday at 8 on.
They're so right. Every tassel always laid like perfectly. They're like perfectly measured.
Yeah, totally. That's great.
There you go, Vince. You got your commercial out of us. We won't talk about WrestleMania, but we'll talk about the great Macho Man. But this week, we're talking about the new legends of the 21st century, the AEW superstars. And this is a really good Dynamite to talk about.
It is. They're really good.
How did the show open up, D-Rock?
The opening match was a match between Brian Cage and the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, Hangman Page.
Hangman Page, no stranger to the opening of Dynamite.
Yeah. There's been a lot of like awesome Hangman Page matches opening Dynamite in recent times, for sure.
So your expectation is going to be, this is going to be a really good, interesting, possibly, career-making match for Hangman Page. He can solidify his place as the #1 contender to finally face Kenneth Omega, the AEW champion, for his title.
Not so fast, my friend.
No, the booking gods have changed their minds. Not yet.
Yeah, I love this. I loved all of this. I just loved it. From the very beginning, the pre-match attack and the power bomb to kind of weaken Page right out of the gate. I love that when Cage was kind of in control to the match. Page's thing where he kind of keeps making him work, which not a lot of guys do. I've noticed, like, there's a few guys that are really good at it, but most guys, when you're supposed to be taking a beating, for the most part, they won't like get in any offense. Like they'll just take the beating. But there's some guys, and I love this because it makes it look so much more real, and like it makes it look like they're in a fight that they're actually trying to win. Which you wouldn't think you'd have to say that, but when they fight back while they're taking a beating, Chris Benoit was great at it. I know we're not supposed to say that name. He was one of the best at doing that. Daniel Bryan's also really good at it. And it's just such a underrated little thing to do. And it goes both ways in this match too. Like when Page was making his comeback and trying to get back in the match, Cage in turn made Hangman Page work to get back in the match. He had to work his ass off to get back in the match. Cage cut him off a couple times and he finally got back into it. And then Cage just went into another gear and squashed him. And it was so surprising. And I love the booking. What do you think, Steven?
I thought it was a really good swerve for the show, especially to open the show. It was a very unlikely story move because Brian Cage recently hasn't won a lot of big matches. So, and especially like his place in Team Taz is in question right now. This could have easily been another block to destabilize him from Team Taz. And I like Brian Cage a lot as a wrestler. So I'm like super happy to see him getting a big push here. I think he can have a really awesome match with Kenneth Omega. He had one of the best matches on Dynamite with Darby Allin for the TNT Championship, and I think that we're due to see him hold an actual championship, not just the FTW championship, to really solidify him, because up until now in AEW he's just been a talking champion. What I hope they do, since now they have the Impact Championship on AEW through Kenny, I believe that Brian Cage is a former Impact champion. So
He is.
If you just mention that or show a couple of clips from Impact with him having that championship that now Kenny holds, I think that elevates the story that Kenny is having. And it gives Brian Cage something to really fight for and get a lot of fire for. It's a little weird to me. What do you think about them if they go with Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega? What do you think of the heel versus heel aspect of that match?
Well, first of all, I totally agree about Cage. Cage needed that win so bad. Like that was like such a huge shot in the arm for him. He hasn't done very much at all lately. And just to remind people, like, this is a guy who can absolutely destroy the best that AEW has to offer, because we haven't really gotten to see that much of that. And I love that. And I also like that they're kind of slowing the burn of Omega versus Page, because we all kind of thought that's probably what's coming next. And, everybody's ready for it. So that's exactly the time to get away from it for a while and make people want it more, which I really like also. I don't know if this necessarily puts Cage in line for a title shot. If it does, then I do like the angle of maybe he wants the Impact title again, or something like that. Or maybe he'll like, maybe Omega wants him to put up the FTW title, and then Omega gets another belt. He's to become Kenny Four Belts. So I think that would be interesting. I think it would be interesting to see where Page goes from here, because he had the best record by far in the men's division, And I don't know if I think there might be someone undefeated under him that might jump him, but he's still like probably like number 2 maybe in the rankings. So he's not going to go far. He's not going to drop far. So it'd be interesting to see where he goes from here. And it'll be interesting to see where Cage goes from here. And I don't know about heel versus heel necessarily. I feel like Cage is in the middle of sort of a transition with the way he's breaking off from Team Taz. I feel like when that process sort of completes, I think he'll be more of a babyface. So I don't know what the timeline is for that versus if he might be getting a title shot sometime while that's happening, but it might not necessarily be heel versus heel.
Well, Brian Cage wasn't in the top 5 of the rankings.
Right.
Although Hangman was number 1. It was Hangman, Orange Cassidy, Jon Moxley, Pac, and 10 were in the rankings in the top 5. Now, Pac and Hangman have to fall down in the rankings, so that might push Brian Cage up into the top 5. And that would mean that Orange Cassidy should be having some matches to solidify his contendership.
Is he next in line or Mox?
He's number 2.
And Mox is right.
Mox is number 3. Mox is 5-1.
Interesting.
And then Pac is hanging out at 4 at the 4 spot.
So I don't know if it doesn't seem like Orange Cassidy's really being put into any singles title pictures at this point. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. They might have him like lose a match.
I could see the value though in using Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega, in a
or Orange Cassidy versus Darby Allin would also be excellent.
Yeah. I would be more interested in Orange Cassidy versus Kenny. Because we've already seen Darby. I think we've seen Darby get a TNT title shot before.
Orange Cassidy?
Yeah, sorry, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good title for him. But yeah, I don't know. I do agree that Omega versus Orange Cassidy would be a very interesting, especially with kind of like the Elite and Best Friends kind of becoming adversaries. I think they could do a lot with that too.
Yeah, Brody Lee fought with Orange Cassidy for the TNT title September 23rd.
Oh yeah, nice.
So he's challenged for TNT. I want to see him challenge for something new. What was next on the card?
The next was the Elite in the limo, basically like not really saying anything. But it had that hilarious moment where Nakazawa actually accidentally honked the horn and they all freaked out.
So they have it posted as a 2-minute clip. Let's check it out.
I think that's probably like the whole thing.
We saw Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston exact their revenge on the Elite on the trailer driving the truck through, but right now, Kenny Omega and the...
Did you see the BTE in relation to this?
Yeah, where they run away. That was hilarious. Yeah. Oh my God.
And then they have Brandon Cutler cleaning up the glass afterwards.
Yeah. Oh God, that was so good.
Bucks standing by.
Get in here, Mark.
You need to get him some pants.
Yeah,
he needs some pants. He's gonna stick to the leather. He's gonna stick to the leather. Guys, let's celebrate. This is great. 6 grown men in the back of a limousine. Doesn't get any better than that. Nope. Kenny Omega, gentlemen, the new Impact World Champion. So many belts. We had to get a follow.
Let it be noted how uncomfortable they look in the back of this limousine.
Well, that perfect line by Don Callis, 6 grown men in the back of the limousine, and what?
Our
just to carry the hardware. The Good Brothers are here. Carl doesn't have his pants on. And we got the Young Bucks, the World Tag Team Champions. You guys got the Seidel Brothers. Can't wait to jump on commentary for that. Doesn't get any better.
Cause for celebration, and boy, I'm feeling real giddy. I'm feeling real freaky today, but I'm also feeling a little pissed off. And why is that, you're probably wondering? Well, it's because I thought about last week. I thought about the intimidation factor. I thought about what happened to our trailer that we spent with our hard-earned money last week when Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston drove a truck into the Elite trailer, trying to injure us, possibly trying to end our lives. And look, we're used to it. We're used to non-sport numbnut people, whether it be fans, whether it be wrestlers, whether it be management, trying to take us down a notch. It's not going to happen because everywhere we go, the gold follows. Everywhere we go, the money follows. This week will be like every other week. The next week will be like every other week because we're not going to be intimidated and we're not going to be scared.
I ain't scared.
At all. I'm not afraid.
No.
And what you did last week.
I love Luke Gallows licking his muscles as Kenny speaks. Just as big as he can with his tongue. I love it.
Has left me feeling unfazed. So read my lips and look into my eyes.
Look at him.
I am not afraid.
Not afraid at all. Not afraid.
Hey, whoa, is that them? Is that them? Hey.
What the hell was that?
Are they there? Are they there?
I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button.
Hey, no. Hey, look, hey, listen to me. And you listen to me carefully, you mother father. Yeah, that's right. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. You want to fight? We'll give you a fight. We'll give you a damn good fight. Eddie Kingston, you want any one of us? You want me? We're going to get one of our goons first. Michael Nakazawa. He'll see you later on tonight. We'll see just how tough you really are, Buster.
So I'm assuming that the storyline is playing out like this because I'm assuming that this episode was pre-recorded.
Yeah, my first clue of that was the fact that it was like still daylight during the Page match. Like you can catch a glimpse of like the little corners where the light comes in, and there was light coming in. I was like, huh, I think this is pre-recorded.
And as it's pre-recorded, I think this is like a huge missed opportunity by AEW to have promoted that Kenny just won the Impact Championship. Like,
yeah, no mention at all.
They can do it next week, but it's just, it doesn't have the same heat as, literally days later having Kenny on your TV holding both championships, gloating about it, and selling the fact that you've opened the forbidden door and all other bullshit you like to say.
The fact that they didn't like make a big deal out of it, like, makes me believe even more what I heard from somewhere, which is that Tony Khan doesn't want to like give Impact free airtime by like mentioning them and like drawing attention to them unless they pay for it. Like he pays for his airtime on Impact, which I mean, it's like I said, the forbidden door is open, but there's a cover charge.
I feel it, and I think maybe that's a good business decision for him.
To some extent, I mean, it depends. Like, there is also something to be said for like creating goodwill and like a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. But I don't know. I'm not him. I'm not a business person, so
I just feel like whatever business ramifications or whatever business reasoning is behind this, I still feel like it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
that excites your fan base
for sure.
However, I do like how the Elite is operating now as a heel stable. I like how they're using Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler to get more heat on themselves and make them into, the lackeys and punching bags.
Also, I have to say, watching BTE really makes me appreciate how fucking hilarious Gallows and Anderson are. Those guys are so good. They're so good. I wish they got to do more of that shit on like TV, but it's so good.
I wish there was like a wrestling equivalent for like Adult Swim, or Gallows and Anderson can do more risque stuff at like 1 a.m. on TNT or something.
Right? Yeah, that would be great. Oh my god.
However, they do have their own podcast. They have
oh, do they?
Yeah, they have their own podcast called Talkin' Shop.
Nice.
Where they drink beer and talk to the boys.
Nice.
So they do a lot of impressions of like Stone Cold and Howard Finkel, and they do a lot of weird voices and have a bunch of like strange characters on their show and stuff. It's funny. What was next on the card?
So the next match was the delightful Young Bucks versus Mike and Matt Seidel match that we both loved so much.
Yeah, this was the stinker match of the night for me.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it feels like almost every time I watch the Young Bucks wrestle nowadays, all they're doing is putting themselves over. And all they're doing is like doing their cool shit, getting their cool shit in, to the detriment of, I feel bad for Rick Knox almost. Like he has to just stand there and let them do shit because they're like, well, they're his bosses, first of all. And like, they just, they always gotta like do their cool shit no matter how little sense it makes or how illegal it may be or like how contrived and dumb it is. So that's just kind of the world we live in when you're a fan of AEW at this point, it seems.
They should do something in storyline to explain why he's the worst ref in AEW or why he's in their pocket.
It seems like
something.
It seems like they're moving towards that. Like this match was the first time I've heard the announce team talk about how shitty Rick Knox is refereeing the match. So I think they've started to like hear the feedback from people that Rick Knox is the fucking worst. And I think they're kind of like making it kayfabe. They're making him kayfabe the worst referee, like on purpose. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it seems like it.
Also, I think it's weird that, like, I like that they're doing now, finally, bringing the SCU versus the Young Bucks for the tag championships. I just think it's weird that FTR, like, lost the tag championships and, like, they didn't really push for, like, a rematch. They didn't push for, like, they've backed off of that feud so hard.
Yeah.
I just can't wait until FTR pulls the trigger on it again.
They backed off mostly because they're part of the Pinnacle now, and the Pinnacle is feuding with the Inner Circle.
Yeah, I understand. I'm anxious for them to come back into the picture, into the Young Bucks life.
Honestly, I would be much happier if the FTR never dropped the titles to the Young Bucks and we're now feuding with Santana and Ortiz over the tag titles, and we're part of the Pinnacle with the tag titles, giving them some gold at least to kind of add to their, reputation.
Yeah, that would have been really nice to have the Pinnacle at least have the gold for some time.
Yeah, because those don't need the gold. I don't know. I mean, they're, it's their world. They're gonna book themselves into whatever the fuck they want, and we just gotta kind of live with it, but don't have to like it.
Hear that? We don't have to like it. What was next that we didn't like?
So there. The next up was Penta versus Orange Cassidy, which was a whole lot of fun. Whole lot of fun. Love this match.
That actually was a very entertaining part of the show. I'm actually a little annoyed that they don't have a clip of that on YouTube for me to enjoy right now.
Yeah. They should like in a week or two they should like put up
here it is
because it's fantastic. Oh.
That's something that they don't do enough of on the YouTube page is they'll put up matches when like something messes up, but they should put some of their best matches on YouTube just to have them out there for people to watch.
Yeah, that would be good. I love this. This is the pocket counter to the arm break. I love that. That was great. All the little theatrics at the beginning. Doing the Zero Miedo and the glove and all that stuff was fun stuff. And also the one spot they did where Orange Cassidy went for the pocket tope suicida and Penta caught him in a gorilla press. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Like I've seen guys get caught on a tope suicida, but I've never seen anyone get caught in a gorilla press. And then he lifted him up with one hand. That shit was so cool, and the match only got better from there. Like this was such a good match, like ridiculously good.
This was definitely my favorite in-ring match from Orange Cassidy on AEW.
Oh yeah.
And this was definitely, I think, Penta's best showing on AEW to me.
He was looking really brutal, really methodical, really violent, and he's also he looked more like Lucha Underground than he has in a while, I feel like, and also with like a little bit of that sassy personality that he has now in AEW, which I really like also. But yeah, he looked really great. And the only thing I didn't like was the little like distraction finish at the end, but I see why they did it. They wanted to protect Penta a little bit, which makes sense. And, you know, the heel manager does what he's supposed to do. He distracts and cheats and, you know, gets beat up. So it works.
And it looks like they're going all in on having Alex be his manager. He's like, he has a new theme song now, and Alex is rapping on it. So they're.
I didn't see that. I didn't notice that.
You haven't heard the new? Let me open it. No.
But yeah, this is good stuff. Good stuff.
This is the hot new track for Penta and Phoenix.
Se siente lo mejores en el ring y eso es no miente, tú lo sientes, es bien fuerte, es todo pa' mi gente, oponentes caen con todo al frente, rey los de lucha, siempre están presentes, representando libertad y todos independientes, pelean con corazón y siempre están bien fuertes, castigos y movidos que siempre están calientes. Cero, hielo, ánimo, héroe, miras in the ring.
So it's pretty good. It's got a good hype to it.
It does.
So
yeah, definitely has like the same feel as their old music, but yeah, a little bit more hype even. It's good stuff.
So this is definitely a good year for Penta. 2021, he showed some of this heat and some of this, this fire in his match versus Cody, and it's cool to see it paying off, and I look forward to seeing how his storyline develops. He's somebody who I think if you built up Death Triangle the right way, they would be an interesting faction to have one of their members challenging the Elite for, the top prizes of the company. So
yeah,
I'd be down for that.
At some point, Penta should be at least a singles champion, if not. I mean, he for a while kind of not really carried Lucha Underground, but he was like a top guy. He was, going for the title. He was going up against Mil Muertes and going up against Matanza and shit. Like he was a top guy in Lucha, and he could absolutely be that again if they needed him to be. Although the title pictures, the single title pictures are pretty crowded, so it makes sense that they're kind of keeping him where he is for now. But at some point, I'd love to see him be world champion.
Word. What is next?
Next up, we have the Parlay, which is a kind of a dumb name for what ended up being a fucking awesome segment full of classic 1980s stable entrances with security and biker security, and also chock full of amazing promos by a bunch of guys, some great pairings within the group. I really like the way that they're doing that. In particular, we got a nice little sneak preview of what appears to be a burgeoning feud between Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears, who both cut sick promos on each other. And I'm really looking forward to, I would love to see like an extended program between those two guys at some point. And also the promos from some of the guys from FTR and Pride and Powerful. And of course, finishing with MJF and Jericho going head to head again and looking significantly less mortal than they were last week with their promos, for sure. So definitely return to form for both guys. This is a great segment.
So let's check out a little bit of what Sean Spears got to say on the mic. It's let it be noted that Sean Spears took Jericho's barb that no one should have a blonde mohawk in 2021, and he dyed his mohawk back to its original color.
I also feel like when a guy has blonde hair and he dyes it back to its natural color, it's like he's getting serious now, like Miro just did that too. He had blonde hair for a long time, and then he dyed it back to its natural color because he was super pissed at Kip Sabian, which we'll get to later, and that's another awesome segment. But let's roll this footage.
There's not going to be no damn coin toss. We deserve the advantage because we were lured into this match. So advantage Pinnacle, and in return, a warning. This doesn't end well for you boys. You are looking at 5 men who are willing to bleed and sacrifice everything for each other. I look across this ring and I do not see the same. And when the hell was the last time you even wrestled a match, Sammy? Are you even ready? Look at me! That guy right there is leading you into very, very deep water, Sammy. And in 1 week, I'm the guy who's gonna step on your head while you're drowning.
They're chanting Sammy. Sammy is over as a babyface.
I love how he's making fun of him for not wrestling when it's been even longer since we've seen Sean Spears wrestle a match.
Sean Spears is really proud about that one trios match he had this year. Okay, that saved him from AEW Dynamite shame.
Finally, I can say that I've wrestled.
Spears, I don't believe you. And simply, why should I? Huh? Why should I, man? Ever since you came into AEW, you've been a failure. And actually, Spears, the more I think of it, you were a failure where you used to work too.
Oh!
And here's the thing. All y'all need to know, May 5th, you're gonna fail again, buddy. Because I don't care if it's 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, you want the damn advantage, you got it. I'll start the damn thing and I'll fight every single one of you. I'll start with the damn popcorn guy. I don't care who it is. I'm gonna fight everybody.
All right, if I got this right, it looks like the Pinnacle wins the parlay. They're gonna have.
So very interesting story development here, that Sammy is going to be the one fighting the longest and hardest in this match. Sammy, who was the catalyst of the Inner Circle's divide with MJF.
Right, yeah.
Takes on this responsibility.
But it does make sense. I mean, he's probably the best athlete of probably anybody in this match, really. So it makes sense to have him be the first guy in. And also, like, really doing a lot for his character too, you know? Like, I just love that promo. It makes me like him a lot. Like, I wanna see that guy do well. You know, he's passionate, he's excited, he's willing to take on anybody. Like, that's a guy you want to cheer for.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara is having a very good 2021 so far.
Definitely.
And I'm excited. It kind of makes me worried because, like, I don't know who's gonna win at Blood and Guts. Like, it's the Pinnacle. They should win because they should establish their they should give them some credentials, you know. They sound like a good credential for them to have. But at the same time, I think that you know, Sammy should get this victory over MJF. I think that the Pinnacle needs to be put in their place. So it's hard.
There's so many feuds within this larger feud. Like, there's Sammy and MJF. Now there's Sammy and Shawn Spears. There's all kinds, like, they got MJF and Jericho. They have Proud and Powerful and FTR going. You even got Hager and Wardlow could butt heads at some point. I mean, there's so many possibilities within this larger feud, and there's so many directions they can go with all of this. I really, like you said, you have no idea what's going to happen this come Wednesday. But the only thing we know for sure is it's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be great. I'm really excited.
Let's watch this FTR bit because it leads to my favorite part, which is Santana's response.
I have the advantage.
May 5th, I'm asking you, man to man, right here, with sincerity, please do not bring this version of Santana and Ortiz, okay? Blood and Guts, May 5th. That is not the match to bring this soft, complacent Jericho lapdogs that you've been for the past year and a half, because I promise you, with every ounce of my being, if you bring that Santana and that Ortiz, you won't make it out.
So next week, it's almost a guarantee. It's almost a guarantee that someone's career, and if we're being honest about it, someone's life is going to be shortened in Blood and Guts. And I've prepared my family, and I've come to terms with that. But when the door slams shut and that bolt locks, and I'm looking at every single one of you, you're in my world now, and I ain't afraid to die. Ortiz, You got a young son sitting at home, and Santana, you got a beautiful baby girl waiting for you. But Tuesday night, before you leave to fly here to Jacksonville, Florida for Blood and Guts, I want you to grab your kids, and I want you to hold them close, and I want you to hug them and kiss them. But lastly, what I want you to do is get down on one knee, and whisper in their ear a little message, a special message from Uncle Dax. Daddy ain't coming back home. Hey, you know what they're doing. Don't give in. 7 days. 7 days, boys. Y'all gonna be locked in a cage with us. Y'all ever been locked up? Because we have. May 5th, I'm gonna let my hands do the talk.
Now hold on, guys. It's a parlay. Let's act like gentlemen. And as a gentleman.
This is all just so good.
I love how Proud and Powerful is just like trying to keep each other in check and just ready to whoop ass.
Yeah.
They don't want to mince words.
There's so many great lines. I mean, when Dax says, "I ain't afraid to die," I was just like, whoo. I mean, that's hot. And then the thing about, have you ever been locked up? Because we have. Shit makes it real, you know? It's good stuff.
All right, what was next on the show? Oh wait, what did Hager do?
What did what now?
What does Hager say? Does Hager say something?
Backups for 3 months? This family has been part of AEW since day one. This man had my back when I was threatened assassination in Abu Dhabi in 2012.
I need to learn more about this Abu Dhabi Jake Hager story. I've never heard this story before.
Yeah, right.
That sounds like its own dark side of the ring that we need to uncover.
Oh, there's a video right there of Jim Cornette reviewing this promo segment. I wonder what that's. I wonder what he has to say about it.
Do you want me to click it?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I don't want anything that Jim Cornette has to say if I don't have to.
Okay.
Unless it's a dark side of the ring, because then he's not like being a total waste of life, piece of trash.
What was next on the card?
Next up on the card was the Eddie Kingston, Michael Nakazawa, quote unquote, match segment thing, which the only note I have about this that I wrote down was the fact that Don Callis said once they had extorted him, Don Callis told them that he would give them anything they want. And all they asked for was a tag match between Eddie Kingston and Mox versus Omega and Nakazawa. Like, you know, like a title match, or like, I don't know, like he said anything. Like, that's all you want is just to beat up Kenny Omega.
And especially like John Moxley and Eddie Kingston is so tough. Like, wouldn't they be like, we want a exploding barbed wire death reversal bamboo strychnine match?
Right, yeah. I mean, you would think at least if they're gonna put Omega in this like glorified handicap match, which I'm sure is what they intended to be, not a slight Michael Nakazawa, but that's how he's been portrayed in AEW. I don't know that much of his body of work necessarily, but in AEW, he's kind of, I mean, he was driving the limo. Like, you know, this is not me saying this. This is they're creating this character in this way. But so it's basically like a handicap match. And if you're going to do that, like, it would make a lot more sense if it was at least like unsanctioned or falls count anywhere or something, you know, like just to have this match. I don't know where they're going with it. I'm sure they're going somewhere with it, and I'm interested to see where that is. But right now, I'm confused as to why this is the only thing you wanted to extort out of Don Callis.
Yeah, it was fun. It was dumb. But all Eddie Kingston is good Eddie Kingston.
It was cool. It was fun. It's a lot of fun seeing Mox and Eddie Kingston getting to like be tough guys, going around and bashing the trailer and about to Nakazawa's leg, about to break Kenny's leg, all this kind of stuff. It really builds up that entity of them two as this kind of two-man tough guy, fucking, best friends, thing. I really like it.
They need like a name. They need like like they have the Rock and Sock connection. We
know
need
it's taken.
The Mox and Kingston. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they had. It would be cool if they had like some kind of thing that they like or like, but like something that's more like conversational, more colloquial, just kind of a the guys or what like FTR used to mechanics, something like that. Just like something like not too much thought put into it, but something that makes them sound like a couple of bad motherfuckers, which they are,
So we'll keep brainstorming names for them.
Yeah, totally. Next up, we have Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford. This was a really good match too. I was very impressed. I was really impressed with Penelope Ford in this match. Actually, I don't think I've ever really seen anything that impressive out of her before. Maybe I just don't remember, or I don't know, but I was very impressed with her work in this match. And Chris Statlander, of course, is also fantastic. Women's wrestling has been sort of the quiet highlight of AEW in 21. I say quiet because there's still only one women's match per show usually. But there's been some really good ones. When I was making my I went back and started making a running list of like matches that I'm considering for like top 10 AEW matches of the year. And like most of them are women's matches. There have been some really, really good ones this year. And even like the ones that weren't great matches, like the mixed tag with Jade Cargill and Red Velvet with Cody and Shaq was really good. Their singles match, Jade and Red Velvet, was excellent. Jade has been looking good, but sorry, I'm getting really sidetracked here. We're talking about Chris Statlander and Penelope Ford, which was also excellent.
But you're not wrong. The women's division has been doing fantastic. And even wrestlers who, Penelope Ford has been used in a lot of women's matches on Dynamite. And, she really did have a good match this week. Statlander hasn't been in action in a singles match on Dynamite since her injury, I don't think. So this is a great, return to form for her. I think it's kind of weird that they have her coming in to Orange Cassidy's music. I get why they're doing it, that it's just the stables music.
I think it's just best friends music at this point.
But it just, it felt weird to me because she had her own music before and she had her own gimmick beyond best friends before.
I do really like that she's coming out with Orange Cassidy and we're getting more Casslander on the main.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hope they pay it off. I think you could do a really good intergender match with Casslander versus Kip and Penelope. So I hope that they're building towards that. That would be cool.
That would be a really good fucking match. Although I don't know we're gonna get to that in a bit, but Kip has bigger problems right now.
Literally bigger.
Way bigger. But that is not the next thing. Do you have anything else to say about Chris and Penelope? Or
No, I love Penelope Ford. I love Chris Statlander. My only qualm with this is that they're not in the title picture right now for the AEW Women's Championship. So I'd like to see how those rankings play out in the future.
yeah, we didn't see Britt Baker or Hikaru Shida at all this week, so that was interesting. I'm sure that they are gonna, their match is gonna be probably for Double or Nothing. But we got the whole setup for it last week, but nothing this week. So it should be interesting. See what I imagine they must have some mention of it next week. I don't know that they would go 2 weeks in a row without, featuring their prime, feud over the women's title. So we'll see what happens. But the next thing on the card was the Factory versus Nightmare Family match, which was also a ton of fun. I love how I was laughing so hard at how angry the announce team was that the Factory was riding in on the Nightmare Family bus. They were so outraged by this. It was hilarious. But yeah, I love they had a great intense beginning. The Factory worked together really well. We got to see another great Lee Johnson showcase spot, which it's been a while since the first one, so I was very excited about that. And I hope they're teasing a little bit of a Lee Johnson Anthony Ogogo feud, because that could be money in the fucking bank. I'm very excited about that. So this was really good, and the post match stuff was even better. What did you think, Steven?
I like this segment a lot if I just take it on its own in the show. I like how the Factory's being built up as a faction.
Mm-hmm.
I like the concept of Cody having his own bus, even though I feel like this is the first time we've seen the bus.
Right.
Which is, I think it's strange that, the Nightmare, that the Factory comes out of the bus, before we've even seen Cody with the bus in the bus. That's weird. I'd think you'd establish the bus with Cody first on the show.
Yeah.
But, hey.
Also raises an interesting point of how long was Cody in the bus? Was he in there when they pulled up?
Well, here's where I'm going with this. My beef with
the bus, and then he woke up.
My beef with this segment is that we saw literally last week the Elite have their own trailer,
right,
which was assaulted, and they ran away. We've seen the Inner Circle fighting over a dressing room, and then the Inner Circle appearing in that dressing room and fighting them. So this felt to me like a hybrid of both of those moments injected into this feud, which I feel like if you had just maybe just introduced that Cody has a bus this week and save this for a couple weeks, I would have taken it better,
Yeah. It was fun though. I mean, the moment of Cody appearing in the bus, and the moment of them going up on top and Cody putting on the figure 4 and Aubrey Edwards being up there for some reason. What was that about? Why was she was like, stop it, cut it out. It's like, what? They're not anywhere close to the ring. This is not your jurisdiction, Aubrey. I don't know why you're here.
I think the refs were trying to break it up. I like the bus. I like that this is Cody's big return. I just it just doesn't feel like I don't feel like Cody really one up them. They came out in his bus. They disrespected him. They got the beat down on him. They've won this match. Like, so what? Cody made you tap on top of a roof? Like,
And why was he just waiting in the bus? Like, while all of this is going on,
yeah.
His brother is being assaulted, and he's just waiting in a bus for QT Marshall so that he can put him in the floor on top of the bus.
Dustin Rhodes is posting to Twitter how he has a black eye and is like all like swollen and stuff from getting hit with a cowbell. And his brother's hanging out in the bus trying to be all cool and funny.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I still thought it was a lot of fun, and I love the faction wars, but that's a fair point.
I like it. And I'm also disappointed, too, that we're already getting QT versus Cody at Blood and Guts. I feel like this could have used more build time.
That seems like that's like the blow-off match, and why would you do it right away? I know you have like a quote-unquote big show, you know, a special edition thing, but like, why not save this until Double or Nothing? Or maybe plan for something else. Nightmare Family, like a big Nightmare Family versus Factory match, what they have planned for Double or Nothing. But you would think Cody versus QT Marshall is why any of this is happening. So, well, and there's also, you know, there's like QT and Lee Johnson. There's some beef there, I guess. But mostly it's QT and Cody, right?
Yeah,
So,
but I would have preferred, like, at Blood and Guts, maybe it's Lee Johnson versus Anthony Ogogo, or Dustin versus somebody else one-on-one. Keeps the feud alive, but you don't have to blow your QT and Cody wad yet.
Right. It seems like they're probably kind of capitalizing on this is Cody's big return. So now his big return to the ring is weak. But if you want to have his return to the ring, put him against, I don't know, Colorado or even a Go-Go. I mean, you know, but although that might not work because you don't want either of those guys to eat a loss. So, you know, put him against a Go-Go or put him against, you know, I don't know, who's the other guy?
Cody's probably going to get beat. They're probably going to cheat. They're probably going to beat him. So it probably doesn't matter. And the feud can still keep going, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
So let's take it with a grain of salt. What else we got?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was kind of a non-finish and then they go ahead and do Cody versus QT again at Double or Nothing. So we'll see what happens. The next segment was quite possibly my favorite thing that happened on this entire show, which was Miro fucking murdering the fuck out of Kip.
And I love that the YouTube title for it is, Has Miro Lost His Mind?
I mean, that's a valid title because, like, not only was, like, just based on, like, the initial 90% of this segment, you would think that Miro is fucking insane. But then the part at the end is the best part, the most disturbing part of all of this, where Miro, like, forcibly hugs Kip Sabian's face and says, I forgive you. I forgive you. But the fucking cherry on the sundae is, as he's walking out, Miro goes, good talk.
Let's take a peek at this minute of Dynamite.
No idea why you guys seem to think this is such a big deal. Everything's fine. I know you've been...
No! Where have you been? Where? Are you trying to sabotage me? Nobody's gonna stop me from being a champion. You understand that? You understand that? You Come on, mate. Come on, mate. It's time to pay your dues. It's time to pay your dues. You ready, mate?
I'm sorry.
You ready?
I'm sorry.
Miro! I forgive you.
When you buy this plant,
No, commercial.
Walmart.
Commercial?
For Walmart. How dare you?
Was the video over?
I think
It's
there's
like
still
it
seconds
cut
left.
away right before he moves away and says,
No,
"Good
it's
talk."
over. They cut it out.
What the hell? An ad at the end?
They
Oh,
cut it off
out
at
the
your
best-
favorite part.
They cut out the best part. I'm so sad.
I'm gonna leave that comment.
Yeah, you should. So yeah, that was, I mean, it's been a few weeks now of Miro cutting these awesome promos. We finally got to see him just absolutely destroy Kip Sabian. Based on the end of the thing, you'd think like they're sort of friends again, but it seems like that's probably if they are, that's probably not going to last very much longer. And Miro's he's just fucking terrifying. He's like, he might be the most legit terrifying dude in all of AEW, which is saying a lot.
I actually am so surprised at how effective this is, because it's actually more disturbing for Miro to act like this when for weeks before he was like, I'm just like a fun gamer dude. I'm just like a really good friend. And then you see that this is how he treats somebody who he says is a good friend as soon as, things start going a little rough.
Right.
So I think that's badass. And that Miro can flip the switch and get to this level of intensity is what wrestling's all about. And I would love to see Miro versus Kenneth Omega for the AEW championship. And to hear Miro talking about championships is very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I do still think that he's probably going to end up eating Darby Allin alive and taking the TNT title. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
That makes sense.
The next thing, not really a segment, but during the part of the show where they promote, upcoming matches, the match now was a bombshell announcement that Jon Moxley on Dynamite on May the 12th, so the week following Blood and Guts. How do you follow up Blood and Guts? Well, you have Jon Moxley defend the IWGP US Championship against fucking Yuji Nagata. I screamed out loud in my room when I saw this announcement. I was as giddy as a schoolgirl, and I still am. I cannot fucking wait for this match. It's going to be so good.
A genuine New Japan wrestling match on AEW TV for New Japan's title. Did New Japan pay for this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they must have, because
pay to play.
They refused to mention anything about Impact. So I don't know. That seems like the reason. The only reason I can think of why they wouldn't be promoting the Impact title that now belongs to our top star. So,
very interesting.
I'll see. Yeah, but either way, Strong Style's coming to Dynamite week after next.
It's interesting that we've seen now, in a way, more New Japan connectivity with Dynamite than Impact.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that surprising, just because they already had so many connections with New Japan. So many of the guys in AEW, like, sort of made a name for them. So, they talk about how they, they made New Japan what it is, but New Japan made them what they are just as much, with Kenny Omega and the Bucks and Hangman Page, a bunch of guys that really like turned people's heads from their work in New Japan. And even John Moxley had a stretch, and he's still the IWGP US champ. So
I wonder, it would be interesting storyline potential if Kenny Omega interferes with this match and wants a shot at this championship from John Moxley.
That would be, he was the first IWGP US champion. So it wouldn't be surprising, Kenny's going belt collecting apparently, so he doesn't have one from New Japan. So maybe he wants that. That would be an interesting angle to have.
And this seems like an organic, if they can defend it on Dynamite, that all the more reason.
Definitely.
So that'll be cool.
That would be cool. Last but not least, we have our main event, which was Darby Allin versus 10 in a TNT championship match. Another awesome match. 10 looked great, got to show off his power, wrestling against a smaller guy. Darby, as usual, very scrappy, even fighting a little bit dirty at times, which was really, really good. And they worked really well together and had a really great match. And once again, we saw Darby kind of taking a lot of punishment, and finding ways to win. That's kind of been his MO as TNT champion. As he kind of seems overmatched a lot, and he always seems to find a way to win, including against Brian Cage, which I don't think anybody really expected. And he does it again here with one of the best versions of this. People call it Bret Harting somebody, when you sort of are in a submission hold and you bounce off the ropes, bounce off the turnbuckle and roll them up into that pin. But this might be the best one I've ever seen, because he also, because he's so small and so flexible, he's actually able to hook both of 10's legs in that move, and that looked really cool, especially the way it was framed up and filmed.
What I thought was most amazing about this match was that it was reffed by Rick Knox, and I wasn't just infuriated at Rick Knox the whole match.
I'm telling you, it depends on who's in the match. Rick Knox is the head official, which is why he's refereeing, the main event. But he also usually referees for the Young Bucks, and they're the ones largely doing all of this shit where they're just both in the ring for like minutes at a time. And and the Elite too, like they do a lot of those spots are them. So I almost feel bad for Rick Knox, because what's he gonna do? Like, he can't just disqualify him. Like, if they're not gonna listen to him, they're not gonna listen to him, and then he looks like an idiot. So
at least make him look like an idiot for storyline reasons, and have them be like, this is our company, you're our bitch, you do what we say.
Right. Which I think is they're kind of moving toward, like I was saying before, that seems like they're moving towards maybe making it canon storyline that he's a terrible referee. It would be interesting to add that angle to it that you were just talking about, of like, being in the pocket of like the Elite maybe, or somebody, would be an interesting way to go with it. Because it is often them, so that would be kind of a cool way to take it. I think that'd be a cool idea.
I'm a big fan of Preston Vance, and I like that he got this opportunity. He was, screwed in his qualifying match for the ladder match for a TNT title spot. So it's good to see him getting a title shot after working his way up the rankings. I thought it was extremely cool, the spot they did where Darby Allin rips his mask open and kind of gouges his eye to kind of ramp up the intensity and sort of the chaos at the end of the match. And I like how Darby showed respect for Brody Lee and for what Preston was fighting for. And I was really surprised at how effective this was as two face characters battling it out and, you know, having a competition.
It was really surprising to me, you know, the fact that 10 was kind of man enough at the end of the match after a guy was trying to rip his mask. You know, I mean, that might not mean as much to Preston Vance as it does to, you know, Penta or Phoenix, but it's still a pretty shitty move. And for them to be able to kind of, you know, say after the match, like, you know, I get it, you know, you were trying to do whatever it takes to win the match and I still respect you and all that stuff, was a pretty cool moment, I thought. And especially the respect to Brody, of course, was a very cool moment. Anytime we pay respect to that man on this show is you know, 2 thumbs up from us here at Vundacast.
And then they close the show with another sort of muddled Darby Allin storyline ending where we're not really sure what they're building towards. So let's see how the announcers called it as Darby swings at Ethan Page and then Scorpio jumps in and attacks Sting.
He just blindsided Sting, and now Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky attacking Darby and Sting.
Sky going for the legs of the Stinger, and Carter choking away at the Darby Allin. And now nothing but an assault. They've got the unfair advantage. But what is the total meaning of this thing? Why are Scorpio Sky? Look at this.
The heel lock. That heel hook. He is cranking back and trying to tear the ankle, the Achilles of Sting.
Look, they're making Darby Allin watch, and the heel hook is trying to cripple Sting.
Scorpio Sky is testing those vector legs of the Stinger.
We've got some help, and it's the big man.
Lance Archer.
The Murderhawk Monsters, Lance Archer, Preston Vance coming to Sting's aid. And remember that heel hook that Scorpio Sky locked in on Darby Allin when Sky challenged.
So my first beef with this is when Lance Archer runs out to save somebody, why does Jake the Snake Roberts have to come and stand by the entrance like, we're doing it?
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, he serves really no purpose in doing that. Like, is it implied that he was like trying to stop him, and that's why it took him so long? But they don't do anything having to do with that, so it really doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
I like that 10 comes out to help.
Darby on for the TNT Championship.
And they smile and they point, but the fact is that Darby Allin is still the TNT champion. What a match we've seen. As you see Sting checking on Darby now. Coming up next, One Championship MMA on TNT. We are out of time.
So we end Dynamite with Sting and Darby laying on the floor.
It's just not really clear to me what Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page's endgame here is. Like, going after Darby Allin, so does one of them want the TNT title? Like, are they gonna, you know, play rock, paper, scissors to find out who gets the title shot? Or are they gonna, do they wanna like both like try to win the title jointly as in a handicap match or something? Like, I don't understand what exactly they're going for here, or yeah, it's a little confusing.
If this is just to build up to like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Darby and Sting, that's not really something that I'm interested in right now.
Which seems like what they're doing, but yeah, I agree. I don't really see what's particularly compelling about just having that match, unless it has TNT title implications. But then you come back to, well, which of them is gonna get that shot?
And then you have also, why does Lance Archer keep interjecting? If he's
Well, you had that moment with Sting, so we've been kind of waiting to see where that goes. The fact that Sting really likes Lance Archer's work, actually, and wishes that he was featured more.
So
but this is all they've done with that.
So I'm assuming that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky first met during their ladder match when Ethan Page joined the company.
Yeah.
And then I guess they appreciated each other's efforts in that match and decided to join forces. So maybe this can build to a three-way between Lance Archer and them to see who qualifies for the TNT championship.
Yeah, I don't know, but then that means that they're fighting, like, which means why are they together in the first place?
Yeah, I guess. And then they haven't addressed at all, especially since you had SCU on this episode of Dynamite.
Right.
They haven't addressed where does Scorpio Sky stand with SCU.
Yeah, no, they haven't. I mean, that is probably because SCU is probably breaking up pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, they haven't really. It seems like kind of Scorpio Sky's not really very much affiliated with SCU anymore. They just haven't said anything, but it doesn't seem like that's a thing anymore.
That just seems like a failed opportunity in storyline, though, to me.
Yeah, I think so too.
To pay it off, like, especially now, you could have, hypothetically, you could use Scorpio Sky to mess up SCU's title shot versus the Young Bucks and get more heat,
Right.
There is a moment of the show that I think we missed, which is Christian Cage.
Oh, yes, we did miss that.
So let's take a look to close the show.
First of all, we just witnessed the FTW World Champion Brian Cage beat the #1 wrestler in the world, Hangman Adam Page. That makes Team Taz #1. And Team Taz has some unfinished business. And that message that I sent to Christian Cage, I don't see. Oh, okay. So you're just going to bow up in here. Here's the deal, man. Last week, Powerhouse Hobbs, he beat your ass from pillar to post. And he made one mistake and you capitalized. Now, you're going to have to deal with somebody else in Team Taz.
Taz, you know what? Enough of the games, all right? At one point in time, Taz, you were one of the baddest dudes to ever step foot in that ring. You talked a big game, you backed it up. You beat guys down, you submitted them, and Taz, you made it look easy. Now, present day, you still talk a big game, but the backing up part, not so much. So what did you do? You surrounded yourself with the biggest and best prospects in AEW. And when they find that success that everybody knows they're gonna find, you'll be right there. You'll be right there to bask in all those accolades like you did it yourself, just to feed your own damn ego. And now you see a guy like me, retired after 7 years. I represent everything you wish you could do. You wish you could come back. You wish you could, and you didn't, but I did. And now you want to leech off me the same way you leech off Team Taz, but I will not. I will not allow that to happen. So you go ahead. You send Team Taz one by one if you have to, because Taz, I don't believe in win or lose. I believe in win or learn. And last week, Powerhouse Hobbs, he learned a lesson. And Ricky Starks, if he gets in the ring with me, he'll learn a lesson too. And it might be a bitter pill for them to swallow, but someday they're going to realize they're better off for it. And hopefully, before it's too late, they realize they'd be a hell of a lot better off without you.
Oh. So pretty good promo.
Pretty good.
And it leads us to believe that, we're going to get a run now with Christian going through every member of Team Taz.
It seems that way. And they seem to be also possibly teasing at least some sort of physical confrontation between Christian and Taz at some point. Or maybe that's just reading too much into it, or I don't know. But, the talk about you wish you could come back like I did makes me think that at the very least, Taz is gonna choke Christian out at some point or something like that.
That would be awesome.
That would be cool. He's done that. He did it to Cody. Was it Cody? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I could see that. And I like the way Christian Cage is interacting with Team Taz. We've seen Darby feud with Team Taz, and it's a wholly unique experience. And I like that this is a chance for him to define his character in AEW. This is a whole new character, even though he was Impact champion and we know him from WWE. This is a brand new canvas, so he has to tell a new story.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
And Ricky Starks deserves the opportunity, and Hobbs deserve the opportunity to work with a legend.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And AEW's been very good at unlike TNA would back in the day, where they just take two known talents and put them together and expect, the commensurate results for that. AEW is not afraid to put a new star with an established star and let magic happen.
Yeah, they've taken a lot of criticism about people claim that they're just like WCW because they're giving spots to all these older legends and stuff like that. But if you look at the way that they're using these guys, they're using them the way that makes the most sense. They're using them to elevate other talent, Matt Hardy and Christian and Sting and all these guys, and Jake and everybody are even Jericho is really elevating the other guys around them. They're never showcasing themselves or putting themselves over. It's all about the team, the whole picture of AEW, and getting some of these younger stars developed, and giving them people to engage with and to have good matches with and learn from and stuff like that. So
we're days away from Blood and Guts. Any thoughts before we get to Blood and Guts? Any final thoughts for the show?
I'm just so excited. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't really care that much what's gonna happen, other than that's gonna be awesome. And I really my biggest hope is that they continue to develop some of these pairings that they've been playing with Sammy and Sean Spears, and the two tag teams and the two main guys, and there's some crossover. We still have the unresolved sort of unresolved beef between Sammy and MJF. They could definitely have a great match at some point down the line. So there's a lot of possibilities for even a more extended feud between these two groups that could pair off into these little mini feuds that I think have a lot of potential for some really compelling storylines.
I'm excited to see how Blood and Guts is going to play out. Kind of worried that some of it's going to be in picture.
Right.
But you know, we gotta pay the advertisers their money. So that's the way they have the show on TV.
Yeah. It's a little scary, the idea of, possibly someone taking a cheese grater to the face in picture or something like that. But yeah, it should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I have been your host, Steven.
And I have been your non-binary world champion, D-Rock.
And you can tweet us at Vundacast. You can find us, find episodes of the show on YouTube. You can download and listen on Spotify or Google Play or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or whatever other form of podcast feed downloader that you use. But the easiest way to keep track of what we're working on is by checking out Vundablog.com. And remember, kids, when you're having a parlay with your enemies, make sure to invite Tony Schiavone, because he's a very amicable host of parlays and has tremendous experience. You can find him through booking at AEW at gmail.com. Not a real email.
Hell Vunder. Hell Vunder.
Vundacast? Give it up for Vundacast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Vundacast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Vundacast.
Subscribe to the Vundacast.